One banger of a series down with 3 more here to go as Primetime Saturday rolls on the MLE Network, presented by APM Music. And Anime J is still in the booth here, still accompanied by the bouncing Kendo Slice off camera here as Farmstead gets set to play host to another important series, this time in the Champion League. The Shadow and the Bears looking to do battle here. The Bears need this one, so do the Shadow, caught in a logjam inside the Tropic Division, Kendo.
Yes, indeed, my friend, and it is a wonderful logjam indeed. Of course, we're referring to the non-volcanic version of the logjam. I mean, we've become accustomed to ones throughout the season. Of course, the volcanic, probably the most infamous logjam, and it was that way for season after season. It was worse than I-95 down near Miami, my friend. That is how bad we are talking. Instead, we have it in 2 different leagues, because apparently the Bears are pretty close in their division as well, despite the 23-27 record. 2 teams, either 500 or so close, that are in desperate positions right now because of how good their respective divisions are.
Yeah, the Shadow with a better chance, I think, to really kind of steal something away. 5 games back of the Sharks at the top of the Tropic Division, but all of those teams within touching distance, the Pandas, the Shadow, and the Flames, all basically within 1 or 2 games of one another, all trailing the Sharks for that CL Tropic Division crown. On the other hand, the Outlaws running away with the Sun, with the Bears bringing up the rear, but really, beyond the Outlaws, there isn't a lot to choose from among the remaining 3 teams in the Sun Division. A big win here for the Bears could go a long way towards their playoff hopes here in Season 11.
And of course, conversely, a big loss here for the Shadow could be crippling to them for the rest of a season. So both of these teams are going to be putting their best foot forward as we go to game number 1, Bears Shadow. 5 minutes on the clock. We are underway with amazing Champions League action. Right off the bat, a shot by Mizul, and Woozle will bamboozle in the box.
Bossa Nova just has to get a little bit more on this ball. Luna also missing the boost on that rotation. Stays on the backboard knowing that the height might be needed, but it's a great shot by Woozle to recognize that the low half of the net's open, gets the Bears on the board here early, and forcing the Shadow now to play from behind.
Well, here we go. Early goal here for the Bears, and they're going to try to continue this pressure. Luna will not get a good touch. Mizul will put that just wide. A large portion of that net was open, Jay. And Luna will breathe a big sigh of relief there.
And the Shadow right now, I think, just taking a little bit long to get themselves sorted out here. Bossa Nova coming in as a reserve again for the Shadow. I think played 2 or 3 series now for them as a reserve, a couple of them on broadcast. So they've come in a couple of times, been a big part of this team so far, despite not having a starting spot on the roster. And I think we're going to need to see a big performance here again for the Shadow as they try to get themselves into that playoff picture a little more firmly.
Well, Mizul will work this ball around the corner. The Shadow looking to pick it up. Luna's protector. Up and over, and Boss Nova into the offensive zone. Little weak touch here is going to be picked up by Luna, but it'll be put wide, and the Bears will begin to work this ball back up. Beat one. It's going to be put back towards the middle, but Luna, the sweep across, will keep everything out of harm's way. It's a quick transition back. This might catch the post, but Mizul is there.
Was a good touch by Luna, looking for Bossa Nova on the infield pass as that transition play had the Bears scrambling just a little bit to try and find an angle to play that ball away. But the Shadow, they don't get anything for it now. Trying to get this ball clear, they're just not quite getting the control of the ball that I'd personally like to see them getting to try and put the Bears in tough spots defensively.
Well, the Bears lose out on control here. It's going to be Mizul. Misses the touch as well.
Kind of at a loss for words on that one. I'm trying to figure out how that section of the field got uncontested by the Shadow in that transition. It was pretty much an open line to try and at least get a shot on goal for them, and somehow neither Shadow player was able to contest the area that that ball fell into in the Bears' defensive end. A big save now by Bossa Nova to just tip that away off the post. It's an open net for Luna Protector, but they can't get enough on it, and the Bears still nursing this 1-goal lead.
Yeah, gotta hit that ball a little bit harder. It was a wide open net down the other way, and I appreciate you, Jay. There are times that crazy things do happen. Sneezes on stream, never a good thing. Double commit by the Shadow. They need to stay with this ball, and they do manage just enough pressure behind it to make sure the Bears do not punish them for what could have been a very critical double commit. The Shadow keeping this ball in the box. It'll be Mazul to really just slap it out. Not very much possession behind it, and so far both teams, they've had a couple shots here and there, just not really consistent with it. It's been a struggle for possession more than anything else.
Yeah, Luna just dumping that downfield, forcing the Bears into rotation. That play was already kind of dying on the vine for the Bears. There was not a lot of boost left in the tank. There wasn't control of the ball. Speaking of control, Bossa Nova looking for the flick. It just pulls away as the ball rolls a little too far forward to get any power on the flick off that Fennec hitbox.
Here comes Bossa Nova. Control through the corner. Out for Luna. Luna looking for the lofted touch. Woozle reads that whole situation well, and the Bears are going to slowly bring this one back up. Good control exhibited by Woozle, but immediately jumped on by Luna's Protector, protecting the danger zone very aptly there in the Shadow. Back to the drawing board as they try to work this ball around the corner.
Unfortunately for the Shadow, they're just not positioning themselves effectively for the clearance lanes, and when they do, it's opportunities like this where there's no boost left in the tank, so the first touch is all that there's going to be, but the Bears, they're just well positioned to kind of deal with those one-off kind of hold-ins. This one, though, loose in front of the net, and it's Mizul that will actually tip it away for the Bears and finally get it out to midfield.
Also seeing some of those back-end rotations are extremely long, Jay, leaving very little chance for both teammates to work together in the offensive zone on a counterattack. It will be Bossa Nova out of the corner to try to get this center for Luna. Luna with another shot on the net. It'll be Bossa Nova, wrong direction. That could have been a shot on net, but instead it's a missed opportunity. Ball still dangerous in the box. Luna's Protector scores. The Shadow get the goal anyway.
Somehow this ball stays alive. It's good pressure by Bossa Nova to force the first touch up. Luna just gets enough awareness to just get under the ball at the right angle, just floating, to keep that under the bar, to not smash it off. The Shadow, against all odds, find the 0-0 goal, and we have overtime in game one.
Well, the Bears are going to be quickly putting this one in the offensive zone, trying immediately to get a little offensive pressure. This will be high for Nazul. Bossa Nova will get it just across. Bears maintain pressure here. They're going to keep this going. Mizul, no angle, does get the soft touch though. Bossa Nova able to take advantage of what was a weak touch. Very crafty mentality there, as that shot on will end up being post save out.
Still a lot of pressure, though, on the Shadow net, and they're not doing themselves any favor. Luna's Protector kind of throwing themselves all around the defensive end, getting caught up with Bossa Nova when Bossa really does have a good clear on the ball. And that unconventional defense for the Shadow right now, really putting them under pressure. They get here in transition. Luna's Protector 1v1. Woozle with the save will keep it away. Not for long. Bossa Nova into Woozle. The double save for the Bears player. And we stay tied here with 1:07 gone in OT.
They could have upped the tempo just a little bit, but what a defensive showing by Woozle! Doesn't matter as Luna's Protector gets a beautiful flick here! What a thing of beauty to behold, Jay!
Had to make the decision, did Woozle, coming across to try and tip it away, and Luna with the backflip just enough past the lunging challenge for the Bears' last-ditch defense. The Shadow, they keep within one for nearly 5 minutes of play. They get the 0-0 goal. And for the 12 shots on goal, Kendo, only 2 goals to show for that. A little too close for comfort, if you ask me.
Yes, my friend, and very, very close between these two teams. The Shadow do get a lot of shots on net, but so much of it seemed like it was, I don't want to sound disrespectful, but aimless. There wasn't as much body behind what they were trying to do. And I feel like the Shadow have a significant advantage if they can find each other in the passing game. They can create a lot more offensive pressure off of sustained touches and keeping that ball in the offensive zone. We saw what it did here in overtime. Excellent stuff.
I think the biggest thing for the Shadow right now is to just trust one another a little bit more. Bossa Nova gets a little bit ahead of the play sometimes in terms of the passing plays that Luna is trying to set up. And Luna, for whatever reason, defensively just doesn't seem to trust Bossa Nova quite as much. That double commit in OT I kind of keyed off of inside that first minute comes to mind when I talk about that. So just taking the tempo down on one side of the pitch a little bit and bringing it up a bit more on the offensive side might go a long way towards balancing the Shadow towards a more successful series. They're up a game in the series, Kendo, but that one was kind of by the skin of the teeth in every sense of the word.
Well, my friend, we go to game number 2 and a fresh clock along with a clean slate for both these squads. And the Bears could not ask for anything more, as they're going to wish they had that one back. They looked like they had control of this one early. They lost it midway through, and this defense for the Bears is a sight to behold. We've seen some incredible goal line stands.
The thing that the Bears are doing really well, I think, is giving one another space. And they're also looking for one another on some of these clears. That last play by Woozle to Mizul to set that up. Great touch, though, by Woozle. Gets a good read. No challenge coming in from the Shadow. And the Bears take the lead early in game 2.
My friend, that is a beautiful self-touch. And Woozle getting just enough of an angle right there. I love the fact that we had a little bit of spin on the vehicle beforehand, made things all the more unpredictable for your last defender in the net. Shot went high. It was excellent placement as Mizul almost getting this on bar down and out. The Bears doing such a good job defensively. Mizul, can they save it? Yes!
Big risk by the Shadow taken on that play, though, Kendo. Bossa Nova diving in. Might have been able to wait back a little bit on that one to see if the defender could get the touch and be able to really put the Bears' defense in a tough spot here. Another opportunity like this. The Bears have to travel that one across, and Luna's protector, again, too close to react to that. The Bears put it in a good spot and now get through midfield relatively uncontested. On the goal line, not gone. Woozle's there, gets it over the scrambling Shadow, and the Bears lead 2-0.
Oh, man, this ball on the goal line long enough to start collecting hotel points, my friend. You could book a stay and use your rewards that close to the net for that long a period of time. So the Bears, very blessed to put that ball in. And here comes another one as Woozle off the kickoff will keep this ball in the danger zone. Mizul, a little bit of a mistouch there. Does get it out center. Luna just gets this over Woozle, who was charging hard for a shot on.
Good weight by the Bears. Oh, actually, Mizul missing that. Bossa Nova diving in. Won't get the 50. Now, the Shadow, again, in a tough spot of their own doing. Woozle makes them pay, and it's 3-0.
Well, this was a thing of beauty right here, is Woozle able to push this on. Could have gotten a little bit of high angle. Just putting it in is the most important thing. The Bears making a statement here in game number 2. And I tell you what, the Shadow are left to reel at this point. They desperately need to make something change. Just a midfield pass plays coming through. My goodness.
What a mechanical play by Woozle, though. Gets onto the board, gets off, sees the teammate coming through that seam. It's right between the Shadow defenders. They can't get a turn to try and contest that space. And Mizul drives onto a dime to put that past both Shadow defenders. And the Bears now in full control of game 2.
Well, here we go again. 2 minutes gone by. 4 goals for the Bears, and they're hunting another. Bossa Nova will say no for now. Shadow We'll get this ball into the danger zone. Great flick by Bossa Nova. Does Luna have the finish? Yes, they do! And the Shadow will start cutting into that lead.
Exactly what you need to do. Bossa Nova's low, but can pull out one challenge from the defender. Mizul's backwards. There's not a lot that can really be done about that. Luna just waiting long enough to see where that goes. Gets a good angle to turn it inside the near post. And the Shadow, they'll stop the bleed here. They cut the lead down to 3 goals. But a lot of work to do, Kenda, with...
Well, here comes Bossa Nova powering through Mizul here in the defensive zone. Ball lofted for Luna. Luna will get enough of it to push it right back into the offensive zone. And a few weak touches here by the Bears. The Shadow have taken to the sky here. Bossa Nova, what a play, folks! Crack open the balls. That might be your play of the week.
Great touch to set this one up too, forcing the Bears again to make a decision. Mizul doesn't cover the backboard, goes low, and that's exactly where Woozle is coming across. Bossa Nova uncontested for the double touch inside the top 90. 2 goals in 30 seconds have the Shadow within 2.
Right off the kickoff, the Bears looking to get a little offensive pressure, so be down in the box. Bossa Nova the sweep away. Luna and Bossa. Oh, this is a wide open net. Bossa didn't get around it, though. Missed opportunity, maybe. But Bossa Nova will stick with this ball. A double commit. Now the Bears with an opportunity. Back the other way. Shot on by Woozle. Bossa Nova, what a save. Luna comes in with the second. They can breathe a sigh of relief, but only for a moment because the Bears are still coming, my friend.
Here's the opportunity, though. Mizul and Woozle trying to get this one in. They don't hold it in, and Woozle's on a boost. Mizul just enough contact to make that work. It was a big spot for the Shadow to put the Bears in. They just don't quite get that final pass together. But how about the open net missed by Bossa Nova? Got past the Bears. Just couldn't quite turn the angle, though. Speaking of turning the angles, Bossa Nova doing it all themselves. It's 4-3.
All things in time, my friend, and that is what Bossa Nova's thinking this entire possession as they are able to get up, around, and over. Yes, there was an open net missed, but just control, trust the process, and see that ball in.
Playing the long game are the Shadow on this one. They go down 4-0 to start this off. 3 unanswered to be within 1 with 1:20 to go.
What a collapse here by the Bears if this, for some reason, goes the way of the Shadow. Still 75 seconds left on the clock to decide it. Luna with a misplay, but Bossa Nova, the shot on. It's still in the box. Mizul will finally get this. You didn't even happen.
Well, the Shadow, that was a golden gift that the Bears were willing to give them. It was just a little bit too much done by one of the players to really try and force that thing to happen. I think it was Luna who just made a decision to kind of flick that ball away into a spot that the Bears could get to while the boost tanks were running low for the Shadow. Now with pressure off the Bears net for the time being, 30 seconds left for the Shadow to try and complete the 4-goal comeback and force OT in Game 2.
Here comes Woozle. Might get an extra touch. Does. Mizul will trap this ball. Slowly pushes it towards the net. Bossa Nova, good job collecting it. 10 seconds left. Luna going high off the wall. This is going to drop towards the box, but a good touch by Woozle will keep it away. They need to jump on this opportunity to the Shadow. Instead, they're left hesitating. 1 second left. And Jay, that ball almost rolled all the way around.
It did, but it was a good arc, and I think this one, the Shadow are going to rue a little bit more than they would have liked. They had the opportunities to put the Bears to the sword, to finish that comeback, but ultimately that 4-goal lead was just enough cushion for the Bears to outlast. Yes, the Shadow came back. Yes, they started doing things right. But right now, you have to get the sense that the key to the Bears' success is Woozle. If you let Woozle get control of the ball, if you give Woozle space and time, the mechanics are going to come out. And the Shadow right now, with their defensive positioning, is just not doing enough to take that away from Woozle or to recover well enough if Woozle gets the first play passed.
I feel like for the Shadow, their key right now is the fact that they can control and out-control the Bears. We've seen that exhibited now through 2 games. They're going to outshoot the Bears here in game number 2 by 2, 10-8. And it came from a lot of the fact the Shadow were willing not only to follow their touches, but you had the team plays coming in behind those touches. So it was really good stuff. They need to minimize the amount of times that they're directly throwing onto the net and play that patient long game. What we saw there out of Bossa Nova, I'd love to see more of it. If you are a Shadow fan, that is exactly what you want to see, because they can out-control the Bears. They lose here in game number 2, but there are lots of signs of hope for the Shadow going into game 3.
I just want to see Luna's Protector do a little bit less in a couple of phases of play. That aggression to get to the ball first is putting Bossa Nova into a couple of tough spots. And while Bossa Nova was able to score on a couple, Woozle is able to kind of exploit that space and that hesitation and decision-making for the Shadow that might open them up. This one, though, no hesitation, but off the post go the Shadow. The big chance to open Game 3's account goes by the wayside.
Well, here's Woozle off of the backboard. It will be Luna's Protector to keep this ball away. Now Bossa Nova taking that 80s Honda Civic straight into the net, demoing Missoul. Can Luna's Protector take advantage of this? Ball in the corner. It's a missed touch by Missoul, but Luna's Protector went high on that. Probably could have seen a center for Bossa Nova. That would have been a very high percentage shot.
Just those really aggressive decisions coming out by the Shadow right now. They're decisive, but kind of in the wrong way in a lot of cases, where the decision they're making kind of takes away their options. Although Bossa Nova, I think, got bumped out of net by Woozle coming through. The touch to keep it alive will be in the Shadow's control, but unfortunately for the Bears, that opportunity to really put the Shadow under pressure here goes by the wayside. Woozle, though, with a good shot as Missoul sets it up with the corner pressure.
You need to stay behind your touches, and what a 50-50 here by Missoul to get it over both members of the Shadow. They exhibit why it's so important to stay behind your touches. Good 1-2. The cycle through the corner. The Bears take an early lead, and more importantly, Jay, they end the drought that was about 4 minutes as they got up to that early 4-0 lead in the first 2 minutes of game number 2. Bears looking pretty good. This will be a ball towards the center. Luna's Protector with a chance to control it. Bossa Nova needs to give them space, though, as this ball will just slowly be worked through the corner, and the Bears able to see it back out.
I think, again, for the Shadow, just not quite getting the wires together here as Missoul is going to beat Luna at midfield. The aggressive turn in catches the Shadow out. It's a 2-goal lead now for the Bears.
I think everyone who watches this play can agree that was too much aggression out of Luna's Protector. And sadly, that is a very easy play to punish. The Bears will do just that. And we're looking at a Bears team that once again is going to be playing to a significant advantage more than halfway through the game.
Good job, though, by Bossa Nova to pull that one down. Woozle read that play really effectively, though, for the Bears defense. Was able to cut away that second touch that Bossa Nova was setting up for. And it really does feel like Bossa Nova is kind of carrying the play. Luna's Protector, remember, is the starter on this one. Bossa Nova is on the Shadow roster as a reserve coming in for this stream series here. So really showing well why he might be deserving of a starting spot potentially anywhere in this league. Reserves being essentially free agents still, despite having a team affiliation. Good play by Luna's Protector, up aggressively off the backboard to cut that one out.
Kind of like the practice squad, only underappreciated, my friend, in football. Never mind. We'll continue forward as the Bears, both in the same corner right there. The Shadow really could take advantage of this, and Bossa Nova will look to do just that. Cuts one, not able to get around Woozle. And the Shadow, much more pressure here in the second half so far. The Bears, they're just struggling to maintain control to get this ball out of their own zone.
A lot of that's coming down to Woozle trying to go for these highlight reel clearance plays. Missoul is well positioned, but if Woozle's first touch doesn't come off, they find themselves out of position in a lot of cases without a lot of boost to work with. It forces them to rotate back through those corner boosts to be able to make a play on the ball. If the Shadow can key off of that, if they can recognize where the space is available for them to attack the ball once that challenge happens, they might be finding more success. The problem is, they're getting dunked, and Woozle makes it 3-0.
Yeah, remember the highlight from the last goal? And there we go again. Luna's Protector, last one back, ends up going hard into that challenge and loses just as hard. The Bears up 3-0, 90 seconds to go. And the Shadow will be looking for another miracle here on the farmstead to get back into this one. Luna, let's just slow this ball down. Sky's high. This is going to be dropping in the box. Missoul gets the initial touch up, and it will be cleared by Woozle. Luna keeping the ball in, takes it to the other corner. Both Shadow members in the same spot, forces a retreat from Boss Nova. A mistouch by Woozle, though. Boss Nova does not get there in time. Could have been punished, but the rotation was a little off.
Just a little bit. A lot of that just comes down to, again, Luna's Protector a little too much in the corner. Just one extra touch that forces Bossa Nova to again make a decision on the play. Recovering position ends up pulling them out of position to take advantage of an opportunity given by the Bears.
Well, here comes Bossa Nova. Luna's Protector going to follow this one up. Long ball across the face of the net. Played on by Woozle. Great pinch here by Luna. Bossa Nova will push this one in. There's still life with the Shadow.
Just enough life here as Woozle gets pressured by Luna's Protector. Exactly what you need to do against a player like Woozle right now is trending, trying to get control of that ball, trying to be tricky, trying to use their mechanics to take advantage of that, pressure them fast, get the 50 in a tough spot, and a great pre-flip read by Bossa Nova to bring the Shadow on the board.
There is a ball across. Bossa Nova will put this ball center, but Luna is all the way on the defensive side, getting boost. That's no position to be in if you're trying to get the last touch offensively, and the Bears will take full advantage here as any chance was lost at that point, Jay. That's kind of a feels bad man.
It really is, and this has been kind of the tendency we've seen out of the Shadow at times. They just give up that ability to challenge the midfield, and then more importantly, they compound it by, once they get the boost, throwing themselves back in to the midfield to try and get a desperate challenge that they've already lost by giving up that midfield line. 2 games down now for the Bears in this series. Again, they need a bunch of wins. Both of these teams really kind of did to define how the final 3 weeks of the regular season are going to go. And if you ask me, Kendo, the Bears are getting the better of it.
They are, my friend, and I feel like it's more self-inflicted for the Shadow than anything else. Don't get me wrong. The Bears are doing a great job of punishing what has been presented to them. The Shadow just looked discombobulated at times. Even there at the end, Luna being all the way back when Bossa Nova pushing a ball towards the center. Nobody home. They don't have an opportunity to score. And I realize it's garbage time, Jay. Last 30 seconds, you're down by 2 goals. You're not always going to be able to get that, but every single goal does count within minor league esports. So I'm looking at that and I'm like, this is a gigantic missed opportunity for the Shadow.
Just think about the tendencies that lead you into that decision making. If you're not tending to pick up boost pads to keep yourself topped off, you'll find yourself more reliant on trying to keep in the play by finding a 100 boost pad. And if you don't get the 100 boost pad, you just don't generally have that consistency of play if this is your general habit to be able to stay with it. Luna, on top of that, when that play we're talking about on 30 seconds, Kendo, Luna missed the corner boost too. There were 2 cracks at that can to get it open, and unfortunately it gave up so much space for the Bears to exploit.
Well, we're back underway. Game number 4 now. The Bears, they've started out all of these games very well. The Shadow will be looking to crack the goal first, and they're going to do it by cracking a couple heads. Luna will put this one away. Credit to Bossa Nova, though. A lot of work done on this one.
Yeah, the Bears gave them this opportunity too. Bossa Nova well positioned to take advantage of the double commit as Missoul went for the side boost up there, got beat by the challenge on Woozle by Bossa Nova. The 2-for-1 for the Shadow, and Luna's Protector coming through, able to get that one on goal. Good start for the Shadow in Game 4.
Shadow will get an offensive push here right off the kickoff again. The Bears forced to the back foot. Luna's Protector goes up, has control of this ball, might be able to get through. Missoul, mistouch. Bossa Nova, no, on the angle, very close, but not able to get the finalized touch there. As the Shadow looking to continue to hem the Bears in their own zone. Bossa Nova forced to retreat here and will force the ball to the corner. Missoul From the corner, back out, overshoots Woozle, and it's going to come back the other way.
Oh, but critically, it forces the Shadow to make a decision to come out. They do, and Woozle will make them pay. It's a 1-1 game.
Love the fluid rotation here. Missoul is going back, gets the boost. Woozle, rather than having Missoul force a touch there or try to body the oncoming touch, you push the man who is going much faster into a good challenge, and that was point precision on the touch, punishing the Shadow being, I don't want to say lazy to the ball, but they did not take the urgency I was expecting.
I actually disagree. I think they were too urgent to the play because they immediately moved upfield looking to exploit the fact that the Bears were retreating after that touch. Speaking of retreating, though, it's a one-on-one. Luna's protector against Woozle finds the angle as Woozle's decision for side boost doesn't net rewards.
Oh my, Luna here with the control. And I mean, Luna, when they are not going off as far as being too aggressive, you can definitely see where Luna is up there in the Master League as far as mechanics, as far as patience, as far as striking ability. The stats are definitely there for Luna's protector, as this is another ball on Bossa Nova. Maybe a chance to finish. Luna will put it just high, the extra touch, and that's a hat trick.
I'm a little skeptical about this touch here. The first touch on the open net was a little bit off, and then the decision to dive right back in when Bossa Nova's setting up for that double touch. If that smashes off the crossbar, if I'm Bossa Nova, I am yelling at my teammate on that one. It was kind of greedy, to be blunt, on that one. It comes off for the Shadow. They get the 2-1 lead. But in the grand scheme of things, Kendall, those types of plays, when they don't work, they get punished, especially at the Champion League level.
Oh, it's going to be a ball centered by Luna's protector. Wide open net down the other way. Woozle does not get all of that ball. If they did, you're talking about a game changer. As Woozle missing another one. Missoul will miss this ball. Still in the box as Bossa Nova slowly controlling it out. Gets by one, gets by two. And that was a dangerous clear, but they're able to breathe a sigh of relief.
They got really fortunate that Woozle initiated the play and spent a lot of boost to make that first touch happen. It gave space there. Speaking of space, though, Woozle into the space, top 90 inside the Shadow net, and Missoul will make it 3-2.
This is a very nice touch. Long Missoul, the extra not necessarily needed, but you love the pass play on the breakout. 3-2. We approach halftime here, Jay. And it still is anybody's game, but you have to wonder, is that one goal lead enough for the Shadow to maintain what they already have?
We haven't seen the Shadow play with a lead yet in this series. They've been behind in every game so far, up until the overtime winner in game one, essentially. That was the only time that they led, and it was golden goal territory. Remember, they were down 1-0 in that game one, forced a zero-hero goal to try and pull them and to force overtime. But Woozle, I talk about it, you can't give a player with this type of mechanical skill the amount of space that you're giving here, falling away to the net, trying to find the passing, or the shooting angle, excuse me, and Woozle just clinical to the near post.
Well, I think I've had my question answered, my friend, as we have a 3-3 game, 2 minutes left on the clock, and Missoul looking for more off the kickoff. Woozle's gonna beat here. This may be an open net opportunity, but the Bears will just corral themselves. Luna's protector, slow to that ball. It's open net. Woozle shot. It'll be just wide. Missoul looking for more, gets it back down in the box, but the Bears are forced to retreat. That could have been lethal, Jay, but it'll just be the Shadow surviving again.
I was screaming for Luna to go up the backboard with no boost, as Bossa Nova spent so much of that precious resource to go up for that ball without getting a lot of speed. They get away with that one here. The Bears under pressure. Woozle not able to make the touch, but that one wide to the corner. It's fine, but they don't get control of it. The Bears will get the clear, and these are the chances that the Shadow need to try and convert on, at least to get a shot away. Now under pressure again as the Bears look to complete the comeback. And they will! Woozle on the loose touch at the top of the box makes it 4-3.
I want to talk about how important patience is. This ball, you know Bossa Nova's not going to be able to get anything. Woozle decides to back off, but still maintains enough forward presence that they're able to punish the slight mistouch there. While still in the box, the Bears punish. They are now up by one, 70 seconds to go. and the Shadow are reeling. Luna missing balls they have no business missing in their own corner. And another shot on here by Woozle will be just wide.
And again, grabbing that boost, aggressively choosing to play that boost, takes a line away from the most efficient path to the ball. It ends up slowing down the Shadow's ability to clear there and really putting them under additional pressure, taking time away from the clock, which they desperately need at this juncture.
Here we go. Will it be the Shadow making the comeback from beyond? Or will the Bears maintain their lead through the last 30 seconds? Luna, big demo here. Chance for the Shadow to really recollect the ball. Luna into the corner. Just needs to get by one. Missoula able to get the beat on. Now Bossa Nova and the Shadow forced to retreat. It'll be a ball back into the defensive corner. Big pinch here by Luna. Woozle needs to beat Bossa Nova in the foot race. Does so. Luna with another touch towards the net. The Bears clear away. 0 hero time, my friend. And Bossa Nova looking to collect this ball. Luna right with them. The 50-50 win is going to be placed high. Ball may fall, but Woozle will keep it up for now. Bossa Nova. Oh, the touch just a little bit shallow, and it's going to be the Bears game in number 4.
And the Bears series as well, the 3-1 series lead at this point, enough to stake them the winner's share of the games in this one. One more, though, Kendo, for the stats, and it's an all-important one for the Shadow here to continue to keep in this fight in the Tropic Division. We talked about it a little bit throughout that game, but Luna's Protector, as that game started to slip away from the Shadow's control, they started to try and do more and more and more. And it made the play worse and worse and worse for them. It put them in more difficult spots that Bossa Nova, for all of the effort tried to throw into it, just could not get the team out of.
It just goes to show how important in twos it is to be on the same page with your teammate. You look at what the Bears are doing. 4 goals, 4 assists. And then the way that they work together defensively to make sure, even when the ball is in close confines, literally on the goal line, they've been able to make monumental saves to go with it. They're beating the Shadow, not necessarily with shot on and offensive pressure. They're beating them with presence. They're staying behind their touches, and they're making the most out of the opportunities given to them.
You talk about the team play between the Bears in equal measures, the selfishness out of the Shadow. Luna's Protector, again, called them out on that goal. Let Bossa Nova take the double touch. You don't need to turn in and try and get that final touch there, especially if it doesn't come off for you. Rotate, give yourself an out, but rather than put the horse blinders on and try to find that goal when your teammate has a shot at it already.
Here come the Bears once again off the kickoff. They'll look for the early goal, but the Shadow, Luna, shot, just barely missing as Woozle somehow gets across, beats both members of the Shadow, and the ball going to be crazy back the other way. Woozle gets it high. Missoula up early. Luna just needs to get the touch. Instead, it's forced the Bossa Nova save. Woozle with the punish. The Bears come through early.
This is textbook play here. Missoula just putting the Shadow under enough pressure with that shot. It's low. It forces a save on a Bossa Nova, but there's no ability for the Shadow to follow that up because that whole play develops as a transition. The Shadow had the opportunity, two kicks at the can, to try and make the goal happen. Neither one of them really get a good shot on goal, and the Bears just cut them apart moving upfield.
You know, if you really want to get into a head of someone in North America, or, you know, more specifically the Midwest of the United States, call a creek a crick. It's actually kind of funny, my friend. There's a lot of things that go behind that. It's only like 5% of people who say crick, but I tell you what, my friend, it is comical when you call it a crick in front of an entire group of people who call it a creek. Anyway, the Shadow, Luna's Protector, taking full advantage of both my passerby logic here, as well as the Bears throwing themselves at these touches. So credit to Luna coming in, punishing the Bears at the most critical time.
I was going to let that one marinate, and if the Shadow didn't score, I was going to make a Chesterfield couch Canadian reference, but I never got the chance to, as Luna's Protector was able to get that one on target. And That's an important one again for the Shadow. They need to take advantage of those opportunities the Bears are willing to give them, like this one. Double commit. Luna's Protector again. Doorstepping in. It's 2-1.
I mean, there is no question. Luna's Protector is quite the striker. Beats both members of the Bears once again. And now the Shadow are up. I'd like to see a little bit more support here out of Luna's Protector, though. They have the lead. Can they keep it? Is going to be the big question, as we are only a minute and a half into game number 5.
This is a dangerous opportunity again, as Woozle using the mechanics to try and keep this one under pressure, to force the Shadow into tough spots that Missoul is well positioned as the support role here in this 2's rotation to try and take advantage of. And this is exactly how you want to play as a mechanical player. You just force the opposition into making mistakes. What is Luna's Protector doing? Off the backboard, it looks good for 3s because usually there's someone there to try and rotate in. This is 2's Bossa Nova to the backboard. There's no shot coming.
Yeah, no shot, and good presence behind what the Shadow are doing. This is a ball up for Luna's Protector, but again, aggressive play. Bossa Nova left on the back foot. Missoul will get around this ball and will try to get it centered for Woozle. Woozle, the shot on, will be protected by Bossa Nova, and now Luna looking to get this ball back up. The Bears corral the chance. They're going to get it back into the corner, and they have the Shadow on the back foot for now. A loose ball fielded well by Missoul, but Luna's Protector going to break around. Quick shot, score! The Shadow take advantage of the Bears in the transition.
I was thinking to myself that that first touch by Bossa Nova was kind of exploitable for the Bears. They just didn't quite find a way to make that soft touch into the uncontested midfield space work for them. Luna's Protector, the aggression working out in their favor this time. A pinpoint shot off the nose of the hitbox there. Finds that upper 90. 2-goal lead again for the Shadow.
Here comes Bossa Nova. The Shadow have taken command of this game, and it is Missoul left alone. Luna with another strike. 4 goals for Luna's Protector.
Bossa Nova just a little early on the flick, but it gets Missoul to make a decision. Goes a little bit too far to one side. Recovers into the touch, but it's loose into the space that Luna's Protector can take advantage of. 4-1 lead now. The biggest lead for the Shadows so far in this series, and they need this game, Kendo. They need this consolation win to get out of this one.
Indeed, my friend. Here comes the Bears. Missoul. Loose ball, and the Shadow taking full advantage again. Woozle will keep this ball out for now, but the Bears, they aren't looking as unified as we've seen them throughout the first 4 games. In fact, this is the weakest their teammanship has really been.
I'm really hard-pressed to find a reason in terms of just pure analysis. It just feels like the Shadow are finally playing a little bit to their strengths. They're finally in spots that the Bears aren't able to take advantage of. They're finally putting the Bears under pressure that the Bears aren't able to get themselves out of. And it's going a long way towards better success in this one. Had they figured this formula out earlier, Kendo, we might be talking about a different series altogether.
I agree with you, my friend, and I think we alluded to it in game number 1. The way that the Shadow they weren't moving together whatsoever. Now, it seems like there is a little bit of thought process behind what is going on, and credit to both Luna's Protector and Bossa Nova. They looked in the first 4 games, like 2 people who had just started playing together. Now they got enough games under their belt. The rotation seems a lot more crisp, and they seem to be on the same page.
It's just a shame that they weren't able to find that rhythm a little bit earlier, because the Bears haven't been lights out. These have been winnable games, I'd argue, for the Shadow all the way across the board. And in a division as tight as the Tropic right now, these losses might come back to haunt the Shadow. They might not make a second consecutive CL playoff here, and that would be a big shame.
Well, here is Bossa Nova. The Shadow will just look to play this game number 5 out. They have a 3-goal lead. Bossa Nova looking to make it 4, just missing out on that opportunity. But it is out of the realm of possibility, my friend. The Shadow are going to go away with some solace and quite the goal. Folks, have I told you about Balls Garana yet?
You tried, Kendo, but why don't you go through it now with 2 seconds left in Game 5?
Oh, my friend, you know, you should have just gone through with everything, because the last thing you want is Kendo Slice talking about Balls Garana live on stream. Of course, you can tell by the energy that I have had a smooth, refreshing, crisp, high caffeinated soda already today. So, barring having an exploding heart, we won't be having another one here live on stream. But we saw two amazing plays out of the protector. Incredible showing by Luna's Protector offensively. So that is very impressive, if you ask me, Jay. But Balls Garana, they are the happy sponsor of our Balls Play of the Week. If you see a play that you like, folks, within the confines of the game, make sure you clip it. Make sure you send it, because you could help your favorite player, or not even your favorite player, just a deserving player, win a case of crisp, refreshing Balls Garana for the Balls Play of the Week. Of course, speaking of which, Jay, I do believe we have the Balls Play of the Week reveal coming up.
Yeah, the winner of last week's Play of the Week coming at you right before our next commercial break. We're going to take our break here, send you off to intermission. Kendo Slice and Inanimate J bidding you a farewell for now from the MLE control room. Stay with us. You're watching us live on twitch.tv, as always.
Jets and Wolves, up next!